and welcome to the Benefactor Chaotic Neutral Games. We're back, and I am Simon, your DM for tonight, as we join Felicia, Corinne, Kate, and Nick with their adventures in Illyria. Don't forget, as always, you can help or indeed hinder. Check out the options in the chat bar. You can join our wonderful and still growing community by checking out the Discord link in our channel notes, or you can support us in what we do, like many of our lovely community, by becoming a subscriber. We're back after many holidays and hiatuses. Let's see if we all remember the story as we go into episode 140 of The Benefactor. Welcome back, and welcome to all our players. I can see that we have Hermit, the Raven. The Ravens are in the tower, so we are good to go. So a few changes. We've got fully into Mage the Ascension. So Dave is going great guns with his guys. We have a short campaign being done by Mike. That was a session 0 that we had Corinne in. Learning the Cortex Prime system, and you're in for a treat. I've played that story. Mike's run it a few times. So by all means, please continue with that. But we are back for some D&D. So if you cast your mind back 4, 5 weeks, something like that, various illness and holiday and stuff in the way, we had got to a certain part of the Heart of Duradan story. A slightly extended personal storyline that I fed into Corinne's character, which was basically a bunch of dungeons for you all. You had managed to get the last Canopic jar after messing about with the Rosali in their very weird village. Having had to pursue the Rosali across the prime material plane into Jaspera, which I didn't expect, but absolutely loved it when Felicia was like, nope, going with them. You have managed to tie up a very clean, it's almost like Black Ops kind of ending to the Rosali. I was waiting for some like vengeance and shit to go on, but no, you cut that off at its core. You bounced back through Ostergold and then went back to the Rosali facility in Ostergold. Farewell started the de-brainwashing of the village, and when you went into the secured Rosali Tower, you found that there was a room that was dedicated to the Heart of Duradan. You met a lovely bugbear who was just the keeper. His name was Moog. He's just the keeper of it all. He wasn't a member of the Rosali. He just basically was like, I'll work for free to look after all this. And they were like, yeah, sure. You started doing various research, started reading through the books. You came back with Garrick and brain fart. Garrick and Jacob. your Eclipse's friends. One of them a bookish researcher, historian, and the other one a dwarvish archaeologist who had been pursuing the heart of Jorodan for many years. They helped you with the research, and you got some answers to the immediate history. You also were joined by Sun, um, the one member of the Guardians who was immortal because he kept replaying the same day over and over and over again. A fit, tall, muscular, beautiful kind of cross between a lion and a panther. He's kind of a maned panther. And currently wearing beautiful Void Dragon armor, courtesy of Glory, and very much a hero, looking like a hero as you started putting everything together. You eventually, with a little help from an NPC, from Sun, decided that the best way to open the jars was to push them off the table, as every good tabaxi should. As you push the last one off, all of the various ashes started mixing together, and in a huge maelstrom, standing there resplendent, was Lilith, aka Carnitava. Carnitava was Jorodan the Great's lover, concubine, partner, call it what you will. The history books all differ on this. But one thing you do know is that she is living proof of one of the miracles that happened around Jorodan the Great. She fell in love with him, something that a succubus is not supposed to do, and she lived with him as a mortal for many years. It was through her love for him that she has done something that no devil has done before. She's forged a soul for herself. When the fall of Jorodan happened, she wasn't strong enough to be able to prevent it. He had been tainted by the influences of hell, brought from being Helor, the sun god's champion on earth, to being brought low and corrupted, about to be a corrupted champion of hell. In order to stop this, Carnitava and some of the faithful servants of Jorodan, decided to partner with the gods and take the Golden City, Jorodan's throne city, and rip it out of existence, out of space and out of time. There is still a way to that city. They call it the path. And that path is what Eclipse, and as an extension, you all have been on. As we start, we pan in, because it's been that long, to a very confused looking village. People are speaking very quietly to each other. They're not accustomed to speaking to each other. Their words stuttering and faltering. And a lot of people, you notice, are doing very subtle hand movements or gestures, using this secret code, signal, this way of emoting to each other that is barely recognizable, in addition to the words. Somewhat of an argument has broken out, but there's no violence, there's no frantic gestures, but every now and again something gets dropped, a foot scuffs across the floor. This is quite possibly the most heated discussion that the village has had in many years. Some people lived well under the Rosal, or as well could be defined in their very oppressed state. Others, on the other hand, knew how oppressed they were, or didn't fare very well at all, and are currently very grateful for their new freedom. As that debate goes on, we can see Farewell, our water genasi, walking up, exasperated from all the arguing, to check on the party. He hasn't spoken to them in a while.
Everything's fine.
And they were supposed to. They were supposed to check in if anything happened. I think that was almost his exact words. It was like, contact me if anything happens. He enters these large pair of doors, kind of siege doors to this tower. Hosta, the large bronze dragonborn, her green organization badge at her belt, tips him the nod and says, directs him to where they are. Inside, green operatives are taking stock of what's in the tower, looking for any dangerous magical artifacts, anything else that could be useful, especially any research, the scholars everywhere, research that could be useful in the coming war against the architect. He follows the direction into a vault, a wizard's vault. Instead of riches, it's knowledge. Because knowledge is power. And as he walks in, sat are the people who I mentioned before, Jacob, Garrick, you've got Cora and Awen, you've got Glory, you've got Eclipse of the Moon, and then very pointedly a beautiful half-elven woman speaking to Sun that you've never met, Phil. However, the second you walk in, you get this strange feeling. Ordinarily, when you come face to face with a fiend, especially a powerful fiend, you get this feeling. Sometimes you have to look for it, but when it's that powerful, you get that call to arms. As some sort of divine inspiration tells you there's something wrong. You get a twinge of that.
Yes?
But it's confusing. It feels different.
Yes, very well. This is Karnitava. Or, really?
She turns and says, I prefer Lilith, if you don't mind.
I need to explain. But yes, this is Lilith. She was in the jars.
You can see the smashed canopic jars on the floor.
Come on! I haven't been gone in even an hour. In fact, no, all right, okay, I've been gone over an hour. You couldn't have waited an hour.
No, I didn't know that smashing the doors would bring her actually here.
You just hear this sound that just sounds like boiling water as like, I was just like, you've put me in a very difficult position. There are rules. And no offense, I'm sure you're very lovely. Still technically a fiend. There are rules, Eclipse.
He's got me there. However, and she walks up, takes a glass of water and says to Evel, do you mind blessing this, please?
Make holy water!
We will come to you in a minute.
I'm ready to.
In a minute.
She puts the thing down, goes back, carries on drinking tea with Sun and catching up.
Just fucking.
Yes.
After all of this time, just still could strangle you.
Why? What did I do?
You know, maybe we should have had this discussion before. It was very likely. We all knew that we were looking to find the heart of Juradan that we decided was her.
Yes, but I thought we would have an opportunity to discuss whether or not a sensible thing would be to open all of the fucking jars once we had them.
It's a cat. And I point to the jars that are clearly, like, knocked off the table.
Yeah, they are right at the foot of the table, to be fair. Sun turns around and says, in Eclipse's defense, I did the first one.
Yes, Sun's fault.
I point at Sun. I expected better of you. I thought
Cat will cat.
Eclipse. We all know there's something fundamentally just missing there. You have had oh, you know. You have had millennia, sir. Millennia
of kicking the shit out of fiends.
Exactly.
I'm not entirely sure what your point is.
I'm not either, but shush, be in the corner and be quiet. I'm supposed to be angry.
I'm drinking tea.
Yes, drink your fucking tea. Fiends, what happens if that had exploded and she tried to, like, eat your soul? Again, no offense, I know we've only just met, but, you know, we have to sometimes play to negative stereotypes.
Gets rid of Sun's voice. To be fair, most of them are well deserved.
Exactly. And when she come through, we just had, you know, that was kind of a rough fight, and I'm not feeling too strong myself. You lot are not feeling too strong yourself.
Were you rested?
That's not the point.
I'm fine now.
Fine. Okay, we are where we are. We are where we are. She's not. Come, look at me. And I bap her on the nose really hard.
Why?
No, okay, not charmed. That's fine. Okay. Just checking. Sometimes we have to make sure of these things. Again, no offense. I'm sure lovely person, but still, got to make sure. So, now that we no longer have a very limited choice of avenues upon which we can now go down. Oh, eclipse of the moon.
Well, she is the key to unlocking the city.
Just there's like a motion of like farewell, where it's like it like motions to get like around both hands around the side of her head. It's just like shaking inches from her face. Like, God, if I didn't love you, I'd kill you right now. And it's like, fine, but we don't even know whether. Fine, but. Come on, why aren't you two angry at this? How are you two sat here so calm?
I mean, she seems nice.
You've met my family, Farewell?
I think the fact that, you know, she's a fiend who's got a soul is like, I don't see the problem here. She's clearly not trying to eat us right now. We've been here. She's sipping tea, for goodness sake.
Nice tea.
Just, you know, don't. What do they say? Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, to be fair, if you see a fiend, absolutely judge that by its cover. I'm
Exactly,
somewhat.
thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
somewhat of
Why
an
is the
exceptional
fiend
fiend.
agreeing
She's
with me?
exceptional. We already know this. We've been pursuing this for the whole time. We know she's exceptional. That's the point. So make an exception. Farewell. And I just flick him.
Got me right in the eye.
What? Don't bend
surprised
down
you-
to my level.
she could
I
even-
was not expecting you to bend down.
Seems rude. Fine. Just. What have I missed?
So
I
this
think we
lovely
could all use a
gentleman
recap.
here, Glory says, pointing at the bugbear, has been guarding this trove of knowledge for his entire life and
Oh,
their
hello.
parents before that, and so on.
I'm Moog.
Nice to meet you, Meg. I'm Farewell.
I'm kind of a librarian.
Oh, wonderful. You like librarian?
No, he's a library. Berry.
Barian.
Library.
Please tell me he did not come up with that, and that was you guys.
No, that was her. That was her. I'm not going to claim credit for that particular wordplay. I mean, ironically, I spend a lot of time around books. Not exactly super literate. Gonna have to say.
That's got to be boring.
Well, no, I can read. I'm just not a particularly good writer.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, librarian that couldn't read, that kind of defeats the object of being a librarian. I just couldn't write any of these books. I've read a lot of them.
Oh, cool. We're getting off topic here. Now,
Indeed.
stop distracting me with things I like. I'm supposed to be angry with you because you naughty.
You weren't here, Farewell. Like, you couldn't, like, not.
This is the box thing all over again.
It's the same excuse every time. You weren't here to stop me.
The box thing again. It's the box thing.
I'd say it's more like the time Eclipse ended up in jail.
No, because this time nothing bad has happened.
Yeah.
I'm
And
just
also-
saying, Farewell left us alone for some time and shenanigans
day.
happened.
I mean, on the scale of Eclipse's things that she's done, I guess she's learning to pace herself. Although
Yeah.
I'm not sure summoning an unique fiend within the scope of an hour is an escalation or a de-escalation of what she did before.
To be fair, I think she was kind of destined, based on, and she pats one of the books. I think she was kind of destined to do it. I don't think she had much of a choice.
Oh, yeah, well, we figured that out. I mean, at one stage, we technically wondered if she was the reincarnation of a part of you.
An interesting theory.
There's
don't
been
think-
We had
plenty of
plenty,
theories.
Yeah, but we had quite substantial evidence to support that.
I don't.
Other than the
think
fact that my soul is here.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't know that at the time.
Farewell's just salty. His theory didn't come true.
I think I like my theory. I thought it was very good. I spent a long time working on that. Thank you very much.
I wrote a whole meta on Reddit. Fancy Reddit.
I like to point out that there was quite a substantial letter correspondence between me and a few scholars about checking out lineages.
Also, she's a.
Seems that your species has a habit of not writing things down anywhere they go. They have- they- They like-
It's mostly
they-
because all of the writings go to the Grand Temple.
Yeah,
Yes, I
if
know,
you've gone
which is
to like
really-
the Narukan temple, you have the entire library there.
But you're right, we don't have much in the way of libraries.
They tend to be in the Narukan temple.
Or in our houses.
Or yes, in the house. But yeah, if you're looking at the wrong race. Like if you want to look at fiend lineages, you go to Glory's family.
True.
Yeah, but again, and no offense, Glory, they're more of the stabby, burn, conquer everything. This is more along the lines of the I fell in love, got doomed, and got a soul out of it kind of lineage. Very opposite ends of the scale.
To be fair, that's
I'll
not much
have
of a
you
lineage.
know
We don't have
that
many
the
people.
love between my great grandmother and great grandfather was real, despite her being a succubus.
I'm not saying it wasn't real, but your grandfather is a dragon.
Yes.
Lilith turns to Glory and goes, that means we're technically related.
Very
So great,
distantly,
great,
yes.
great.
I mean, I'm probably your kind of 15th cousin many times removed, but it's
Oh, I was probably great,
all-
great,
all
great,
succubi are
great
sisters. You understand?
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah. So I'm your oh god, I'm your great grandaunt.
Something like that, yes, would be the correct.
Oh. I didn't know I was in the presence of family.
You don't want to meet them.
I just take a seat at the table and just put my hand in my head. Just be like, oh, that's such a headache. So what's the plan? Come on, what have you already decided?
Well, I think we should run it by Farewell what we discovered, because because the last episode has been lost, it's good if we just do a recap of what happened.
Yes,
Corinne
Simon
didn't take
had
any
holiday
notes.
brain and didn't upload the episode. So you'll get the TLDR from a mixture of people, mostly Sun. I would say Sun, Sun, Glory, Lilith. And so Lilith says, well, we worked with the gods to take the city out of time and space. That much I think you've already gathered.
Yeah.
In order to be able to restore my beloved, we had to take the long way around. I think it's putting it mildly. We needed to find somebody who would be able to connect with him. Somebody who embodied what it was that he was once. Someone with a pioneering spirit, someone who would do whatever it takes to do what's right. And so we set seeds of destiny in motion. We weren't entirely sure where they would go, but we knew roughly what they would do. They would find a key, a person who would be able to connect with Jordan, and as such, bring him back to himself. You keep mentioning this heart of Jordan. He gave me his heart, but I don't think that's what you're on about. Speaking to your scholar friends here, and Garrick raises his teacup, the heart, capital H, seems like some sort of artifact or something, but I don't recall my beloved having any such thing. We could ask him, I guess. Son, unfortunately, was just a soldier, a damn fine soldier, but he was a soldier and a bodyguard. He wouldn't have been part of all the arcane stuff. I spent most of my time...
I bring up Sloth. You can ask the book.
She looks at you puzzled. She hasn't got a clue what the book does.
I opened the book, and his son has seen it before, so he...
Yep. Son explains. Yes. You're not going to believe this, but this is inspiration. Innie? And she looks at the book and goes, this is Innie? And he goes, yeah.
His name is Innie. I mean, sorry.
The book suddenly, I've always hated the shortening of my name. My name is Inspiration.
Hello,
Innie.
Innie.
Or now, Sloth. And with Sloth, you can tell it's slightly smaller handwriting.
Sloth.
Son turns around and says, Inspiration. You had many powerful artifacts that we gained with Jordan's progression. With all the various evils that we destroyed, with the corrupt governments that we toppled and took all their treasures, the Golden City is rife with them. Was any of those artifacts branded the heart of Jordan? At which point the book scribbles, I don't recall anything being dubbed the Heart of Jordan. If I were to guess, I would say it was Dawnbreaker, his sword.
Could be. Oh, I don't use swords.
Was he that attached to his sword?
Sun turns around and says, "It was given to
I
him
think-
direct. It was given to him directly from Pelor.
I think
That
the
demon
ha-
that you were talking about, the demon that you think belonged to the architect that
Yes.
that Jordan destroyed, he destroyed it with Dawnbreaker. I mean,
Yes,
Dawnbreaker
well, I
is a
think-
sword that directly connects to the
I
power
think
of Pelor.
it's more than just an item or a sword. I think that the Heart of Jordan is the mote of divinity itself that he was given.
That would make sense. It's
That explains why none of you have any idea what it's on about, because it's not something that was very clear to you about this mote of divinity stuff.
yeah.
It was said that when he was chosen, wasn't when the sword was granted to him, it was younger, when he was a child. There was a point where he made a promise to the gods to set out into the world, and oh wow, I guess time to know a little about Jordan growing up. So I grew up in Naruka with him.
It's the son talking.
Yes, this is son.
Yeah.
I grew up in Naruka with him, and he was a boisterous kitten like the rest of us. But one day he went to visit his father. His father was on the travel at the time, so he ended up boarding a ship with his mother, and they went off to meet him in this port. Apparently, this place that they went to was very different to Naruka, and he saw a lot of the injustices and the oppression there. His father had managed to get a certain amount of protection by paying local criminals for protection. You know this?
Oh, like a protection racket?
Sounds right. I don't know the term, but that sounds. You pay, and they make sure bad things don't happen to you.
Yeah.
But
It's
But also, if you don't pay, they come and
break your leg.
Right.
yeah,
stuff.
but his contract was that he was only going to be there a finite amount of time, so he was only paying while he was there, and when they left, they would leave on good terms, because he would be a contact in another city. It's useful for organized crime. Yeah, so he managed to make this deal to make sure he was safe and his family was safe while they was there, but they still saw a lot of very nasty things. When Jordan came back, he was, of course, not called Jordan back then.
what was his? Was he stepping in the sun? Oh no, you're already sun. But
And that I will take to my grave. He is Jordan, the chosen. So yes, he came back and he saw all of that, and it didn't sit right with him. It was something that just stuck in his core. In the same way that all Tabaxi find their obsession, he found his obsession there on the dock. His obsession was then fired a little with sorrow when he found out that a rival criminal organization killed his father and the people protecting him. Rather than being a vengeful young cat, he was more pensive. And instead of vowing vengeance to this criminal organization, he went up to the temple and he swore to the gods that he would lead his people to drive out corruption and to bring peace, prosperity, and freedom to the people of the mainland. And it was said there that the All-Father, Pelor himself, reached down and touched him, and at that point he was bathed in golden light and marked as the champion of Pelor. It was only when he hit the shores and his first battle occurred that Dawnbreaker shot through the sky and landed at his feet. Stopped the battle dead. The people who were going to kill him instead bowed, knowing that he was so favored by the gods. And they were the first people to join us that were not Tabaxi. So you say this touch of divinity. I know.
Yes.
I was there.
That is what I think this heart of Jordan refers to.
Very well. Well, it is said that when he was corrupted, that what was within him, the power that was given to him by Pelor, was the thing that hell was really after. Yes, he was an influential ruler. He, to turn him would turn millions of people at that point.
Well, I assume, Lilith, you have more info on this.
Lilith kind of sits back and says, yes. We knew that Pelor had placed in him a little of himself. We wanted it for our own. It would tip the scale. To have the champion of Pelor even twisted by hell, fighting for us on the Blood War, he would be capable of things that none others would be able to do. We were willing to enhance him even further. We were hoping that once fully corrupted, we would be able to start a royal dynasty in hell. I carried the favor and therefore the essence of my pit lord. Once he would descend into hell, not through death, but through choice, and sit upon the throne of the city of Dis, I would be his bride, and a new dynasty of Hellborn warriors would start. Needless to say, I did not want that for him, but I was too late to stop it fully.
Oh, thankfully, it didn't happen in the end. But yes. Oh, Farewell. Do you have any progress on the whole speaking to Pelor thing deal? That you asked your angel, if we could.
I am still waiting to hear back, but these things tend to take time. Eclipse, it's not like you can. All right, you know what? I'm really not the best example of that. But
No, because Eclipse experience is that dude just like go, hey, Raven Queen should go sup.
that's slightly different.
Almost like he's in the timeline on which lots and lots of death is dependent. Yeah, that's going to make the Raven Queen go, yeah, I'm going to listen to this guy.
Yeah, that's a little different. I'm a little. I'm very in my lane there.
You did invite her to the pub.
I'm for baked goods as well, but that is besides the point. It's just it doesn't always work that way. They don't have. She's more likely to listen to me, as is her choir, than Pelor's, and you tend to have to go. I'm trying not to do this in our usual way where we kick the front doors in and demand something and then end up pissing off a major god, because not a good thing.
The author.
Please, Pelor.
I don't want to get.
We speak? I really need to
Hello,
know.
kitty cat. No, you do. You are not of faith.
I really need to know about Jordan and his motive.
I really, 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 really want it.
I really need to know about Jordan.
Dear Pelor Santa, I would like
the
heart
to
of
stop the
Jordan and a pony.
architects. You know, the thing that you guys created? Yeah, that thing. Can you please have someone for that? It's not working.
To be fair, it is unusual for gods to speak with anyone except their chosen. So, getting to speak with a god who is not your own is rare.
Especially when.
Tell it.
Hey, Pelor, you're so fine. You're so fine.
It's fine, just
mind.
fine.
It's not. First of all,
Oh shit! Go on, Herbert.
deeply-
Perfect time. Perfect time. Do it.
Oh no.
Please let it be like contact later being.
27 and a D6, please.
Please let it be contact later
3.
being.
Do gods count as planar being?
No, but she might be get lucky and get a planetar that's like of Pella's domain.
I guess.
Is anything happening?
What's the other one? What's the other one called that you can also get a hold of?
Well, then again, it depends on which of his tables Simon is rolling on.
Well, that's all determined by the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm trying to zoom into the.
Dice.
Okay.
This is fellow. This is
Deva.
fellow to mouse.
Deva.
Okay. As she's praying, there's a sudden uneasy feeling coming from Eclipse Farewell. You suddenly don't trust Eclipse as much as you did before. There's something sinister about her.
Just very, very slowly. Just stand up.
I still have my eyes closed and I'm just doing my
Yep.
praying thing.
Yep, she's praying. She's praying really, really hard. It seems like the harder she's praying, the worse it's getting.
What is it?
Just slowly just reach into my pouch.
I have no clue what's going on. I'm like,
Just
get my ruckus out.
take out a slightly smaller water pouch. Pop off the lid. And then I distrustful. And it's getting worse the more she's trying to do this.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like it's almost like feeling, instead of feeling heat, you're feeling like nausea coming towards you, and instead of her getting hotter, she's becoming more nauseating. And you appear to be the only person who can feel it.
That's not good. What would Farewell do? What would Farewell do?
How long does this thing last, Simon?
Until Simon says it's no longer happening.
I reach down to the rope of entanglement that's on my belt. I tap it, speak the command word, and I shoot it out at Eclipse.
Dex save?
Absolutely.
It's a dex save.
With advantage, with disadvantage, and you're not allowed to take 10 because your fucking eyes are closed.
Oh, also, I can't take 10 on Dex save anymore, but I have evasion.
Doesn't work in this.
You're not paying attention though, so it would
your
be
eyes
surprising.
Are closed. Yeah. You said yourself. So
Yeah, it is 18.
18.
It's a DC 15.
Yep. So this rope starts to try to coil around you, and you just kind of hiss and shrug it off.
Evan, I think your rope is broken. It tried to attack
You feel
me.
like you were getting somewhere though, Eclipse, with the praying. Definitely felt a connection with something.
No, and I rush over.
Oh, like, Pavel, your rope is broken.
I'm just gonna
It tried to attack me.
I'm just gonna tackle her. Just a bang.
Give me a strength-based attack roll.
Okay. It's a natural 1.
You need to beat 4. You need to beat 4.
It's still a natural 1. It doesn't matter.
But it's contested. So what is your score?
Oh, in that case, it's also 4. Because unless I can add any proficiency to it.
Yeah, athletics.
Yeah, it's proficient. Yeah, I'd say you're proficient in this.
Oh, okay, then in that case, it's 10.
Okay, because you both rolled shit, this is not an elegant looking thing. This is like this isn't like a kind of, world class rugby takedown or something like that.
No.
You collide into her, and the only way you can say that you won is that you ended up on top. Yeah. So, but the second you touch her, you feel fucking evil emanating from her. But you can see the way she's acting. It's her. It's her. But there's just this evil aura that's just pissing out of her.
I've got like one arm that's like my left forearm trying to pin Eclipse to the floor, and in my right hand I've got a flask of holy water. And I'm basically trying to cast ceremony ritually, and I'm just like splashing her with holy water, like trying to get the demons out.
What are you doing? Okay, look, just because she's trying to, I know this is your thing, but let her try and talk to a god,
She's
for goodness
full
sake.
of the devil!
What?
She's got the demons in her!
Oh, for goodness sake. She's just trying to talk to a god. What are you doing? You're overreacting. What are you doing?
Actually, at this point, now that he's actually said that, because up until now everybody's just been reacting, once he says that, Lilith goes, No, let him complete. Let him finish.
By the power of the Raven Queen
Ow.
compels you!
I'm
Cast
just
out
lying there
the-
going, what?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Pamela, you do your
11 minutes. It takes an hour and 10 minutes to do this.
I just lied there the entire time.
I'm gonna say that.
With the,
Yeah, I'm gonna say for this, it's about 10. It's just gonna be 10 minutes for you to do this.
Okay, fair enough. But
yeah.
It is technically an hour and 10 minutes.
Hour and
of
10
farewell
minutes exorcism, man.
screaming
Just
at the top
just
of
kill her. Don't
When you
bother.
just sit down at the end and start reading a book and be like, what the fuck?
yeah.
I'm going to say it only takes about 10 minutes as you're there and you're calling all of the angel names and things like that. By the name
You're
of this. By the
speed
name
running
of that.
holy ceremony now.
I'm
So
very
I have to
confused
do
to
an
what he
insight
did.
check. Okay. I fail because I rolled a 2.
Okay.
So that means, as part of atonement, I do not, at the end of this, if Eclipse has changed alignment in any way, shape, or form, I have failed to change her back to her original alignment.
Okay.
I think I'm fine.
At the end of it, you douse her with the holy water. After
Waterboarding
anointing
it.
her, you're just like, oh fuck it, and you pour the water over the top. This is kind of part of the accelerated ritual. It hits her, and as it hits her skin, it fizzes. Yeah.
You technically would take 2d6 radiant damage.
You feel this popping sensation around you as the nausea disappears. As the holy water dribbles off the cat and onto the floor, it creates a strange shape before just going into the stonework. And the shape is of a small triangle, upside down isosceles triangle. Yeah. And then coming from it, two longer triangles turning into one big triangle.
Oh no! Oh, I know what that is. Oh god!
I know that you know what that is.
Oh no!
She fucking misdialed in a very bad way.
Okay.
Farewell is panicking.
The water just goes
like
after it creates that shape for like the barest second, it just disappears into the rock.
Yeah, like Farewell is straight. Like you've seen him panic before. This is beyond panicking. This is full blown freaking out. Like I am digging through. I'm like, water! I need more fucking water. Get me more fucking water. Oh, son, hold it down. Hold it down.
What?
Lilith steps forward and says, "He's gone. He's gone."
Are you sure?
I would know.
What was that? What happened? Why did you tell me?
Never do that again.
Eclipse managed to not talk to a divine being.
Never.
I think it's fair that I link the picture into chat, but I'm only going to put the picture into chat. So let's see.
So what was the spell it came up as, Simon, on the...
I've taken some artistic license, obviously.
Obviously. That's part of the fun.
But that was the picture that came up. That was the symbol.
Yeah, yeah.
You ended up on Osmosis' Twitter feed.
Yeah, you direct dialed like on the scale of like 1 to 10 on fucking up. You're firmly in a 14.
What was the spell on the wild magic that did this?
So basically the 3 that Hermit got took us to the necromantic variant wild magic table. 27 says that you have a strange aura of evil that follows you around for an hour.
Ah.
And I was like, oh, where did this evil come from? I wonder. Well, let's see. You've just released a fiend that hell has been looking for the last several hundred years. And you are in the middle of a vastly divine story. And also, you're trying to call up his arch nemesis. Yeah, Asmodeus is going to be watching. So, yeah. It was just a moment. He was just looking in. Just,
Mm-hmm.
He came in, gave you some upvotes, that kind of thing. But that was it. Yeah.
So, are we all in agreement that Eclipse is not allowed to pray to gods anymore?
Yes.
No.
Shush! You don't get a say.
She's gonna have to go full Catholic. Get the priests to pray for her.
Yeah, exactly. I pay them to pray for me.
So, that little bit of excitement over.
Terrible day. This is a really bad day. This is so bad.
Karnitava says, Lilith says, it was inevitable anyway. He was always going to be watching us.
Just the look of sheer, like, absolute horror on Farewell's face, like completely terrified of what is just gone on and what she's just admitted. There are things Farewell is prepared to deal with, and then there are things he is not wanting to fuck with, and
yeah,
that
give you the level of badassery that we're talking about here. Asmodeus, and this isn't my canon. This is actually D&D canon.
Yep.
Asmodeus at one point walked into a courtroom full of every angel that ever existed and all the good gods, and basically said, I am going to throw myself upon your judgment. We're going to have a trial, and I will abide by whatever the outcome of the trial was.
He won.
And he basically gave his rationale for everything that he did, and they couldn't come up with any reason to punish him. This is Asmodeus. He is lawful evil personified.
You know, this was not how I expected to come into contact with him. I would have thought it'd be Excellence's fault.
Yeah, okay. We probably have had more of Asmodeus' attention than Excellence, so you're probably winning there.
Sure.
I've got to fucking do this. He was going to turn up anyway. At the door, you hear, my ears were burning.
Oh, look, it's the loser!
Standing behind him is Hoster going, I could throw his ass out if you want.
Yes.
I mean, it'd be
Give it
really
a few
funny.
moments. I need to gloat
Sorry,
first.
you guys gave me the perfect segue. Literally,
Yeah.
I did
As
give you
he's-
forewarning that someone would turn up with an offer and it was going to be him.
Simon, as he's just done that, and after all of this, Farewell has taken out. He's spent the time. He's got a little few drops left because all he needs is a sprinkling.
Yeah.
He's taken some incense, some powdered ruby, and I'm casting Forbiddance as a ritual spell for the next 10 minutes. I am not having this happen. We've had one person associated with the Hells teleport in. I'm not having any more. I'm not happy. So Farewell is currently just walking around and creating this giant ward with Eclipse in the center. He's just like, no. Absolutely not. This has got some far too fucking.
I've got to look this up. Yeah, okay.
I'm sitting there like cross-legged in the middle, going, okay.
You create a ward against magical travel that protects up to 40,000 square feet of floor, a space to have a height of 30 foot above the floor for the duration. Creatures can't teleport into the area, use portals. They can't use. It prevents creatures from accessing the area from any way of the astral plane, ethereal plane, Feywild, Shadowfell, or the plane shift spell. Okay. Cora, you feel slightly weakened.
Oh, oops.
Suck it up. Just carry on. Just
Not too bad. Do you have a feeling that if Farewell didn't like you, it would have been a bloody sight worse?
Yeah. I just be like, and you wonder why we do things when you're not here.
This is why I have to do this stuff, is because you do things when I am not here.
You can see that that Lilith, as you're doing the spell, is kind of a little. She looks uncomfortable, shifts in the seat, but she's not telling you to stop.
Okay, hi, Lucer. We found our way before you, haha.
Cousin.
I was carrying it the entire time.
Oh, Your Excellence.
I had it the entire time. You didn't know.
May we speak?
Feel free to take a seat.
I've just seen all those pictures, all those gifs of wet cats that
Yeah.
Yes.
The wet cat gifts.
See, this is why I never look at Discord when we're in the middle of roleplay.
It's for the best, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you posted that in gaming chat, Corinne?
Oh, oops.
He looks at you as if to say, as if that's going to stop me. He goes, fine. I'll state the offer here. He walks up, sits down and says, well, as you know, I have been brokering family business in the pit.
Indeed.
Not exactly my choice, but it was what was required. And let's face it, I wouldn't want a weaker family member down there.
No.
Sure.
But from what we've seen, you've been doing maybe not as good as I would have thought.
I'm not damned or dead.
Stop.
Very well. In that case, I was going to give the offer to you, Glory, for you to broker. But seeing as you're here, Karnatava, I'll give it straight to you. Let's face it, at some point, you're going to end up back down there. Just a fact. You're hunted. There are a number of pit fiends that would like to sup upon your soul. But there are some who are believing that you can still be a credit in your current form.
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, you need to just step to the left. Just, yeah, a little more. Thank you.
You got pimple on your nose.
Yeah, actually, Simon has. The offer is quite simple. We will step aside for one mortal life. During that time, you can try and find your beloved and do whatever the hell it is you want. But at the end of it, you come and work for the pit again. Work for the pit, not be devoured. The contract is a contract of employment. So long as you fulfill it, you'll be safe. You end up betraying the contract, then your protection ends. In addition, although I will admit it's slightly self-serving, the pit are also willing to help you with this architect problem for the investment of Karnatava rejoining their ranks and history recording it as eventually the pit getting their way. A lot of pride demons, you understand. Pride devils, you understand. We will send a detachment of devils when the time comes and the demon armies start spilling into Ostergard. As I say, it's self-serving. We see it as no different as another front in the Blood War. Devils fight demons. Demons fight devils. If he ends up coming in, he's going to spill the war in favor of the demons to no small amount. Not only that, but if he does end up doing what we all suspect and completely destroying all life in the prime material plane, let's just say that some of my colleagues in the pit won't have any more feeding grounds to
It won't
apply
have any
themselves.
grounds at all, because everything it includes probably hell as well. He wants to mess up all the time.
Exactly. So as I say, that part is a little... Thank you, Fighter. That part is a little self-serving, you understand. But
So why do we have to take a deal about that? You're just going to do it anyway, because you're going to. If you don't, then you risk losing.
I have a feeling that they just wanted to put it in as a sweetener. Let's just say, if you allow Karnatava to return home after one mortal life, then we will give you
What type of mortal are we talking about? Are we talking about elf? So like 1,000? Or are we talking like...
Time in the pit is less important than it is to mortals. If you say a life is 1,000 years, life is 1,000 years. We're willing to negotiate.
I don't like it.
Of course you don't like it. Thankfully, it's not you who should be advising. Glory
Good advice.
and Lilith are best to gauge this, which is just as well because I believe the decision lies solely with Lilith.
Get off your fucking high horse.
I'm not on any high horse at all. I have brought an offer.
You're
It is
saying
lit-
that only these two have anything to add to this conversation? That's on your fucking high horse.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm sure that you'll all have your opinions, but I'm saying ultimately it's Lilith's decision.
Yes, it's her decision.
Correct. That's what I just said. So, try to think of the future, Lilith. Are you going to be on the run forever? Are you going to turn around and ask the gods maybe to give you sanctuary? Or maybe do you think that you can qualify for somewhere else? It's up to you. I am but a humble messenger.
And a dick.
Your opinions of me have been noted, Eclipse.
I mean, she's not wrong.
I'm sure you have much to talk about. The offer's open. A lifetime is a long time. Again, time means little in the pit, but...
Glory, show... Oh, maybe you don't want to show that yet. Anyway, bye!
My point is, you'll probably want to at least give the offer before it all goes to hell in Ostagar.
Ha ha ha.
We
See
shall
you
think
later.
about it, cousin. Thank you for your visit. I'm sure your masters want you back by now.
He looks a little hurt at the word masters. And says, colleagues. He stands up and says, he goes to raise his hand and goes, I've just realized what you've been doing, Father Barebones. Very well. I'll
You
walk
have
out.
to walk. Or you can stay and get insulted a bit more. But...
It's 40,000 square feet, dickhead.
I think Kiora is the only one who actually doesn't do this to him. She thinks of him differently to seemingly everyone else, which is interesting. Just watches him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the others, regardless of what they think of him, just love sassing him. So,
Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
Cora, she kind of feels sorry for him because I think after she thinks he's just doing what he has to do, just like Glory. So she
He
doesn't.
most certainly is.
Yeah. So she doesn't.
But Glory's being an ass to him on purpose because
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. But like
For
Cora
Glory,
definitely
it's
isn't.
expected. For Eclipse, it's just what she wants to do.
yeah, it's just really fun because he's so easy
yeah.
to make fun of.
Yeah, for
Because he's
Glory
so
and Farewell,
pompous.
they just give him shit because they can. Glory, it's expected and part of the game. But even then, yes, Glory
I
has
offered
that
him
sympathy that
redemption.
Cora has for him.
I offered him absolution and forgiveness, and that offer remains on the table.
Yeah.
He's the one that was being deliberately provocative and rudest, which is the reason why he's now got to walk 40,000 square feet.
Sorry, I just read Hermit's comment.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm actually just imagining a small cat saying that. It's just like, oh, mate. Anyway, he walks out, and not that you can see it, he uses his patented portals to pop out of existence to a place that you have no idea. Once he gets out of the 40,000 foot whatever.
Cute.
So he steps away. Once he gets out of range, disappears completely. Lilith, as he leaves the room, says, I knew that was always something I had to make a decision on, but we've got too much to do.
I say fuck him.
Sorry, you're not meaning that literally. life as a
No,
succubus.
No, don't
no,
actually fuck
Ooh.
them. Fuck them as in don't care about them. And
Oh, don't worry. He's not the biggest person when it comes to fucking either, so.
No, but we do.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, where were we? We were Asmodeus, and yes, stopping my undead beloved from being undead and moving on to the astral sea. Can we get back to that part?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I have ideas of how you could all be of use in the Golden City, but for that, I guess I need to know more about you, frankly. She sets out 4 cups, pours the tea, and says, "So it's your turn. Tell me more about you." And that's where we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to get you guys to talk about yourselves.
Oof.
Uh-oh.
It all started when
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
when I was just a little baby.
so
When I was a kitten,
Yeah.
Eclipse is gonna say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For Glory was so it all started when my aunt was weirdly abusive towards me.
Right. Okay, shall we?
I don't actually think Glory would consider it that, because that's just how it was.
No, if we were telling stories on each other, that would be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be how Eclipse describes it.
Yeah. Okay, going to break. See you guys in like 10 minutes or something. Bye.
Welcome back and welcome to our players. Sorry about that. Took a little bit longer than usual, but we are back. When we left off, Lilith asked you all a question, and that is, tell me about you. She elaborates and says, you're powerful. I can tell that you're powerful. For one thing, you survived the path. What I need to know is what exactly makes you powerful? What is it that you bring? Eclipse pulls out a knife.
I think.
Oh, darn.
Oh, hi, Scorpius.
Thank you for the 16 months, my dude. Hope you're doing well.
I'm Eclipse of the Moon.
We know your name. I was not asking. What is it that has kept you alive throughout all this?
I'm really good at hiding.
That did not keep you alive, though.
It has.
Eclipse, you almost
really
died because you
good.
hid in a box once.
Once. I'm really good at stabbing things in just the right place, so it does a lot of damage.
Okay, you're an assassin. Oh,
No.
good to know.
No, she's... No.
No.
Eclipse. Tell her what's in your heart. Show her who you are.
Show who you are, Simba.
Show me what you've got.
Well,
Not what you can do, who you are.
I'm someone who you can't stop. Is that a right good description?
That's exactly who you are. She is absolutely the unstoppable force. Hearts on her sleeve. Her head's in the clouds. And always, always going forward.
Sounds like the type of person we were looking for.
Type of person that you need to succeed. Without this kind of person, we're all doomed to fail.
Lilith turns to Glorian with not unkindly, but certainly more business tones. Turns around and says, and in Infernal says, So why do you follow her?
Glory will respond in Infernal. She amuses me, and I've grown fond of her. She has a drive to always say what's on her mind and speak up for any injustice she finds, regardless of if it puts her in danger.
Especially if it puts her in danger.
Throws in a magical fucking oubliette, yeah.
Mhm. She is very much everything I couldn't be. And I respect that.
Kodash. She turns back to Eclipse and says, yes, that I understand.
Why did you say?
Only positive things, my dear.
She goes to say something to Farewell, but then focuses very heavily on Cora. You, like me, are not of this world. At least not anymore. I see someone trapped between worlds like me.
You're not wrong.
How do you deal with it?
Well, at the moment, I guess I just, in a way, split my time. But also, in a way, I haven't dealt with it. Not yet.
Is that what keeps you strong, or is that what stops you becoming strong?
I think for now it keeps me strong.
Maybe it keeps you stable.
Maybe that's what I mean.
In my experience, the Fae aren't the strongest when they're stable.
What about mortals?
Mortals need to be a little safer. But you're neither right now. And both.
I came from one, I'm going to another, and it's sometimes hard to let go of things.
It is. Especially if you believe that what was left behind had value. But does that stop you going to where your destiny or your happiness is? The amount of power that I was willing to give up for him. I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. Every succubus is a queen. Did you know that? We are considered royalty.
Do you have a crown?
She shimmers slightly and a suggestion of horns appears above her head. We're born with crowns.
Yeah, because no crown, no country.
There's a
More
finite
flag.
number of us. We are treasured.
Oh, yeah.
There's no such thing as a new succubus being created or born. We are eternal. I was willing to give it all up for him. And I still have. And I would do it again. Simply because it's where I was going. If I look back, would I have doubted? Maybe. The key was not to look back.
Yeah, it's hard when there's things you want to look back to.
True. I see two versions of you right now. One is dying. the other never will.
That's because all mortals die. That's the point.
I didn't say it was a bad thing.
Haven't you heard? Heroes never die.
I know that at some point that decision will have to be made. To be honest, as you say, it will be made whether I want it in a way or not. Eventually. Not that I don't want it. It's just knowing when to let go.
I guess the only danger is now is that you've been taken to the high spot. You've been taken up on top of the mountain. Your two choices are fly or fall. Falling's going to hurt. Might even end you.
Well, that's why I have a sunhawk. They help me fly.
Only if you choose to. Do you know how I can see into you?
Not exactly, but I
It's
assume
not a
it's
theme
part of
thing.
your thing.
No. Well, not really. You see, I can normally tell someone's lust, someone's desire. Or at least I used to. Back before I gave it all up for him. Now I see love, loss, fear, everything that I'm made of. Back when I was made of lust, I could see it like bright shining colors burning out of people. I could smell it in the air and track somebody for miles on it. Now I'm able to recognize another person who's having to wrestle between themselves, their identity, and love. I believe the phrase is game knows game. Which leads us to you, Mr. Barebones. It is Mr. that you prefer, isn't it?
Father! Say father. It's really funny.
Just farewell.
Farewell
I
to your-
like just farewell.
farewell to your friends or farewell to anybody?
Everyone. I've always been farewell. I will always remain farewell. And I did, despite dying, which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
He's
I
bringing
just
that
smile at the three of them as they all probably look at farewell.
up. We roll our eyes. He keeps bringing that up. It's really annoying.
But you never forget it. I will, when it's my time, then I will shuffle off as farewell.
Yes. I think that's why she chose you.
Probably.
The one thing that hasn't changed is you. The others have all changed. I can see it. As for you,
I'd like to think my jokes have gotten better. Everybody's a critic.
I mean, he's got more funky.
no,
Are you trying to suggest that I'm some sort of spicy genasi?
Spicy.
Well, you meant like funky. I don't think you mean my groove has not got any better. I mean, I'm still a terrible dancer.
I meant your magics. The your polygon farewells.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Have you met the other farewells?
No, but I'm already aware of them.
Oh, good. Well, there you are then. I must admit, I'm very proud of the other farewells.
You're the only person who hasn't changed. Everything that you've achieved, everything that you've gained, you gained it as you. Okay. A Fey Knight, a sorceress, a holy man, and a girl who just won't quit. There I was thinking I wasn't going to be given anything. The next step is not going to be easy. The Golden City was sealed for a reason, ravaged by my kind. What the centuries or more in there have done to them, I have no idea. They could have reduced themselves to feral, mindless creatures, or they could have done what hell does best, formed their own court. One of them proclaimed archdevil. With no souls to feast upon, they would have gone strange. They I should imagine, should have lived through the horror of what that other tiefling talks about. A world with no souls. Nothing more for the devils to feast upon. Ironically, the ones trapped in the Golden City have found their own version of hell. They won't be dead.
Wasted away?
We don't die. We weaken, but we don't die.
So it's a horde of very weakened.
They will probably have fed off each other.
Okay, so there are some that are going to be dead because they've been killed by the others.
And if they have any intelligence, they would have conserved their energy. There are other ways for them to get by without having to use any of their infernal power. Simply walking around requires very little of their energy. I should imagine they would have been biding their time until an opportunity presented itself. I'm not entirely sure, but there were hundreds of them when we first entered. When the city got sealed, hundreds of still living humans, hundreds of still active devils, and then sealed within the royal chamber, my beloved. If we're going to get to him, find out what we can do, we'd have to fight through the city first. We'll appear at the Grand Temple, which is flanking either side of the main entrance to the city. We'd have to fight through the city itself and get up to the mountain. Once we enter the mountain, it should just be a case of going into the royal chamber and unsealing it. Something that I'll be able to do for you. But I myself am vastly weaker than I used to be. I have some knowledge of fighting, but nowhere near the level of power that you have. I'm afraid you'll be protecting me. Sun pipes up and goes, no, I'll be protecting you. They'll just be taking up the rest. Thing is, we need an army. This is Sun now. Now, I have an idea about this. We're going to be helping out your Ostergald with whatever that we reclaim in the Golden City. There should be enough magical items, artifacts, things like that, that'd be able to give your city a few extra bits and pieces. Things that haven't been seen in a very long time. Things that should flummox the demons coming in. But also I think that there's one attack force that we need to have going into the Golden City. The Tabaxi.
Yes.
The city belongs to them.
I mean, do the Narukans have an army, Simon?
Whenever the Narukans need to go to war, they just go, who wants to fight in a war?
Yeah.
And lots of Tabaxi go and fight in a war. They're not so much organized as just very eager.
Who gets to be in charge? The one who's most eager to be in charge?
The one who wants to be in charge, basically. Somehow it's just always worked out. There are generals, there are known generals and tacticians and things like that. And generally they just agree that that's probably the best person to lead. It tends to be that Tabaxi form bands band together in kind of large groups, and then those large groups normally assign people who they think are the best at thinking to go speak about what they should do now they've all got together. Narukans don't go to war often. Normally it's defensive. Thankfully,
Yes,
they're all natural hunters and fighters. So if anyone who goes to war with Naruka normally pays for it very, very badly.
But yes, I agree, son. Calling in the Tabaxi on this is...
Ah, fantastic. Now, you see, I'm a Tabaxi from nowhere. They won't know me from anybody else, whereas you are quite famous. So you're the one who gets to do the recruitment speech.
Oh, okay. Well, the recruitment speech is, we're taking back the Golden City. We found the key. Everybody, let's go. And
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Good stuff.
You know, the sad thing is that actually will work.
It will absolutely work. Yep.
I just there's no art in it anymore.
No, we're not really one for orations. Basically, we just turn around and say, who wants to go take back the Golden City? And then you get a bunch of volunteers, and then we go do it. So, yeah.
It's very effective.
Hermit got it down to a T. Scourer military, organized, well-disciplined, code of conduct, all the rest of it. Tabaxi military, who wants to fuck shit up and get high on catnip?
Are you trying to suggest?
And the Narukans win.
Yeah. It's like, why did the Holy Roman Empire have a real problem holding the East? It's because that just a rampaging horde of Goths showed up.
Yeah. Yeah, they had all these tactics. They were like, we are ready for every tactic. And then they went up against a bunch of fuckers who had no tactic at all
whatsoever, who refused to engage in open battle, hit and run.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy shit.
Yeah. You know, beating somebody to death with your friend's leg that got severed off. The Visigoths were just mad shit. So, yeah. Yes. So, okay. Son goes, okay, well, I thought that I would have to convince you a little bit more about, you know, recruiting your own countrymen and the Narukans, but apparently you're in. So, okay, that felt like it was going to take longer than it did. Okay. I guess all that's left really is to start organizing this shit. I don't know. I mean, we were not typical Tabaxi in the Golden City, you understand. We had generals and armies, and that's what made Jordan so different to most of my people. He was a very organized person. You know, he went on a conquest. He didn't just go somewhere and fuck someone up.
Yes. But yes. Oh yeah, and you haven't been at Narukan Temple yet, have you, son?
I think the first time is when we're going to raise an army.
Yes.
And yes, I have been to the Narukan Temple several thousand years ago.
Yes, but I mean, since You've been freed from your eternal...
I should imagine they've built a bit more of it since
I
then.
think so. I would imagine, yes.
You know for a fact that they have, yeah.
Yes.
You visited it a lot in your childhood. And Narukan Temple, compared to others that get built up, Narukan Temple gets built down.
It has many more levels.
Yeah.
It's like a deep dungeon. But yes. Felicia, you're muted. Felicia, you're muted.
You're still muted.
I am muted indeed. I said, Crane, you do realize that me and Simon are probably the only ones understanding that reference.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. Yes, they've added more levels. No, I could completely think you're right there, son. There's the
I believe last time we were at the temple was when you had to dodge a sentient knife, was it?
Possibly?
Sashul.
Sashul, yes.
Sashul, one of the first magical items I ever put into a D&D game.
Yes, Sashul, which I
the
tried
bad-tempered double throwing knife.
Yes. Maybe I'll be worthy of it this time. I get a talking weapon. Yay!
If you want to go to Sashul and say, hey, I'm going to go take back the Golden City, are you in? We can have that scene. Absolutely. Whether or not Sashul will follow after the said event, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the angry talking knife might want to be in on the, raiding an entire city to take it back.
Yes.
So you finish up here, and Lilith and Son have got some idea. Well done, Spill. Well done. And as you step out of this particular chamber, you can see that a bunch of green scholars are waiting there. And they go to attention in front of you because you guys are wearing platinum badges.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we have someone you need to talk to. You probably know her.
Just because she's that old doesn't mean that everyone knows her.
But she was there.
The scholars go, we've been looking at the other Rosali projects.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about them?
Some interesting things, some things that are just laboriously arcane. So there's a lot of things that are about trying to harvest ley lines and harvest extra energy so that you can do better in things like magical dueling. It allows you to cast more spells of higher circles than ordinarily you would be able to. It's kind of a ritual that you do beforehand, and then when you go into a ring to a fight against the other person who is roughly the same proficiency as you, they will run out of spell energy before you will.
Interesting.
It seemed half-baked, but interesting. There was plans for an arcane cannon, not a spell cannon. So to give you an idea, in Illyria, there are spell cannons. Spell cannons have effectively steel scrolls. And if you have a spell cannon on your ship, you can pull out one scroll, put the other scroll in, and it will do something different. So you can have a magic missile scroll, a fireball scroll. Slowfall scroll is a good one. So you can shoot a bunch of people on a cliff and they'll jump off and be able to glide down to your ship. I've done that scene before. They've got things like the catapult spell. They've got slow and things like that. And also they've got some of the weirder spells where they point the cannons at the sails and use the cannons to propel the sails. These are the incredibly large ships of the line that have these kind of spell cannons that are national ships. There are seven sail ships that have them, but they are like the major flagships of the Nation of the Seven Sails. The cannon that he shows you just seems to be a raw energy cannon, and it uses spellcasters, as in a spellcaster will go up and put their hands into an aperture at the back, and it will suck every single piece of arcane energy out of that person, possibly killing them. And all of that arcane energy will be thrown out the other end. You have a feeling that it wasn't going to be the Rosali who stick their hands in.
No. Yeah, good thing we took care of them. Even I wouldn't stoop that low.
You can see that there are other attachments where not necessarily putting in your hands is necessary. In some cases, like pressing someone's head against it is enough. Basically sucking all life force out of that person and weaponizing it. There's even a set of drawings on how to make this cannon move. Instead of like magical carpets or flying brooms, these crystals that have the same type of enchantment just at 4 corners of this cannon, and so the whole thing just lifts up as one and moves along.
Interesting.
I doubt we'd be able to make anything like that, and even if we did, what the hell would we power it with?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we can take some parts of it, turn it into like a siege cannon, maybe get it to fire residuum, but it's a hell of a waste of residuum. May as well get black powder for that much and just fire a big old ball at them.
Yeah. If it's just, maybe it's just like, oh, we can do it better with magic kind of thing, and it didn't work.
There's also a curse that we looked at. Doesn't really have a name. We called it the Mind Scream Curse. It's could be done on a single person, or if you spent enough time to be able to set it off and had enough power, you could probably get an entire city hit by this thing. It's very scalable. That's the thing that hits us the most. Basically, just I know it kind of screams straight into the brain. Horrible way to die. In mechanical terms, until the curse is lifted, this will continuously give everybody within range psychic damage every round.
Ow.
Right.
Thankfully, it's not that easy to do the curse. You have to bind a demon as the beacon, and it has to be in the epicenter of wherever the curse is.
Right.
To attack a single person, you could probably get away with a quasit, but you would probably need a high-ranking demon to do a whole city. You could do it underneath the city. That's how cults normally work, right?
Indeed.
Yes.
All in all, I don't see how any of this can help us. There were some things. We've got some residuum. We've got some magical items that we're going to dish out to the populace. But other than slightly enchanted swords and things like that, this wasn't the find that we hoped for. You do remember that the Rosali left. They were all panicking and running.
Yeah.
They probably looted all the really juicy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we killed our leaders, but yeah.
Minions.
We lost Nick.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. only Cora has changed position, so
Yeah, because the top row is still the same. There was a few things in the leaders' rooms. One of the guys said he was into arcane constructs.
Yes.
Got this book, and you can see that it's a manual. It's a manual for an iron golem. It'll take the best part of a year to make.
Well, yeah.
The other guy was a biomancer, able to mutate himself and things like that. Problem is, it's all in code. He gives you a book of biomancy, but that does require the user to. Yep, there we go. It does require the user to solve the enigma to be able to get the spells.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, she just had this, and he passes you a book that's been wrapped up in vellum, and it's quite clearly an infernal book. Lilith steps forward and goes, "I'll take that one. Thank you." She opens the book, and she doesn't seem to. The researchers flinch as she touches the pages. They knew that this thing is tainted and cursed to all hell, but she just licks her fingers and starts reading through it all and goes, "It's basic contract stuff. Typical warlock. Not really all that useful. I could probably use it if we had to make certain deals, but that's about it."
Right. Good done.
The patron's a sadistic little bastard. So, this place was a bust. I guess the only thing that you really found here was me. And the few things you picked up from the library.
Yes.
I mean, you were the ultimate goal, so yes, we found. Yes, I suggest we first go back to Ostergald and have a brief chat with the boss. You should come along, Lilith, and then we shall go over to Naruka and get an army.
You do realize she's more of a colleague than a boss by now, right?
Yeah, but words are hard.
You're referring to Renata.
Renata.
Yes, Renata.
Renata has wisely decided to take a step back when she saw how powerful you became.
Is this Cartava saying that? No?
No, that was Simon speaking.
That's Simon, yeah.
What Carnotava will say is, you said you wanted to introduce me to this Renata woman?
Yes. Sam vaguely recognized her, so you might know her more.
Yeah, Sun said, yeah, I think I thought I'd seen her somewhere before. It's uncanny. This is where Simon grabs his notes.
Mm-hmm.
The Heart of Juradan story. Man, I've written a lot of shit since then. Yep, okay. And so, I suppose no time at present. Shall we go?
Yes. Have they established like a teleportation circle link now, so we don't have to?
Yeah,
to go
there always
somewhere?
was a teleportation circle down in the village.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was. Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you grab your stuff, go to the teleportation circle, and Glory has the direct one for the Green Mansion, so you may as well just go straight there.
Oh, yeah.
Glory.
A familiar lurch in your stomach, and suddenly you're in the manor house. Someone walks up and goes, okay, we recognize most of you. Welcome back, Mr. Sun, and yes, Garrick and Jacob, we recognize you. The young lady?
Lilith.
Lilith, you can vouch for her?
Yes.
Okay, good. In that case, please go ahead. And you can see that the guards step back. You don't remember there being so many guards in the Green Mansion. And the guy, yeah, someone give me an insight roll.
Yeah. I rolled a 19. What did Farrell, who has more wisdom than I? Farrell rolled 18.
You hit it anyway. The guy who came up and checked on you, slightly panicking.
Is anything wrong?
We got attacked.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
we got attacked.
in what? The few hours that we were away?
Yep. We it only a few people were hurt. No one killed.
But who were you attacked by?
We're still figuring that out. It was a shadowy figure, as in a figure made of shadow. It appeared, came through the front door. It got harmed by the wards, but still managed to get through. Then it started throwing kind of purple-green lightning at everyone. Yeah, we nearly had a few people die. Thankfully, a lot of us know magic, and we were able to kind of take it down. It was resistant to magic. We were really scared about that.
I can imagine.
In fact, it's strange. Normally, incorporeal creatures like that, normally steel doesn't do anything to them, and magic does. This was the opposite. It came in and it started going up the stairs to where the boss was. Anything that was in its way, it just idly started throwing, let's say, these kind of mixture of green and purple lightning. We're starting to think that the green and purple was probably the energy destabilizing and just turning into different colors. I'm not entirely sure that this was a creature, you know? I think this was like a... Well, we think it was like a shadow copy of someone.
Did it look like a person, you said?
No, it was kind of shadowy and blobby. But it got through the wards.
Yeah, we need to speak to Renata.
Yeah, go ahead. She's a little shaken.
Yeah.
It didn't get to her, but she doesn't like it when things... She normally predicts things, you know?
Yeah.
This came as a surprise to her.
Very well done. Glory will start heading up the stairs.
Yep.
Okay. You get up to the big double doors, and you can see there's guards out the front. And one of the maids turns around and says, "Oh, hello. Have you heard of our..."
Yes, we heard on the way up.
Yeah, when we got in.
Yeah, we're all a bit shaken up. And Renata herself, she was furious. Probably best that you take her out of her own head. She's kind of dwelling on it, maybe beating herself up a bit. I know that she built this place to protect us, and someone coming through the wards was not something that she was going to take lightly. And also the people that got hurt were just people coming in and reporting. They weren't like guardians or anything like that. They were just regular folk that came in and were helping out with the war effort. Yeah, go distract her, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You go in, the 2 doors open, and immediately you're stuck with a scene where a shadowy figure is gripping Renata's neck and has lifted her up and is pressing her against the wall.
Knife immediately on the
You
thing.
can see that Renata is throwing strange kind of curved lightning into it, and it's kind of destabilizing, but it's still there. You said lash knife. Give me an attack roll.
Yep. 26 to hit.
Definitely hits.
It's sneak attack because it is there's an enemy within 5 feet of him.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that. Then plus. Okay. 36 points of.
The thing completely discorporeates. It dissipates.
Yeah.
This was just thin shadow that was holding her up, but seemingly incredibly strong. You can see, the marks around her throat. This thing just completely dissipates. She falls to the floor, and she croaks, "Behind!" And Corinne, you've taken your turn. Cora and Glory, behind you, you can see another creature is zipping forward very, very fast. If you don't take this out, it's going to launch itself with a strange shadow knife straight at Renata.
Out of interest, have we rested since we last fought? Because I'm down to 52 hit points.
Yes,
okay,
you have rested.
all right.
We have had a long rest.
Let me long rest and make sure
Also,
that everything
Farrell
is
here, Simon. He just is not. He's currently just muted.
No, I'm just checking.
Oh, cool.
Am I no robot?
No robot.
No robot.
No robot. Oh,
You're good.
good.
Yeah, in that case, anyone other than Corinne, because she's kind of had her turn in the initiative.
Okay.
I'm going loosey-goosey with the initiative.
Melt.
Okay.
Melt.
I just let her do her thing.
Overkill.
Go for it. Go on.
I do
Glory,
not
get
care.
your glory on.
Yeah.
Get your glory on.
Oh yeah, I
Yes.
wasn't criticizing it. I was just.
I would like the target to make a dex save.
Yeah. And I'm going to send you a private message, Felicia.
Oh my.
That's a 4 on the dice. Fucking fails.
Oh, finally, Glory gets to melt something.
Okay. Roll for damage.
Sure. I'm just gonna roll in 85.
Okay. 85 points of damage. So
Wait. Yeah, plus 40. Yep, that's 85.
plus 40, yeah. It's the plus 40 that makes it really kick off.
Mhm.
So you watch as just a stream of acid, like pressure washer full of acid, shoots out of Glory's fingers. There is a point where the acid...
Well, we did write it as they start sweating acid. Like I'm not
sweating. Oh, God, yeah, I forgot about that. It's
like
not,
their
it's not a
own
beam,
body
is it?
starts producing it and it's melting them down from
It
the
converts all
inside
the
out.
water in the body to acid, yeah. In
Also,
this case,
Simon, don't forget she's got elemental adept on acid.
Oh, yeah.
Resistances do nothing.
yeah. So, yeah.
Oh
in
yeah,
that case,
and it should add plus 5 then because my charisma, so it's 90 damage.
90 damage. Okay. So this thing doesn't sweat. So it's actually the moisture in the air that it passes through
Mm-hmm.
that gets turned into acid. Yeah. So what happens is that where it's a shadow humanoid form, it turns into a shadow humanoid form with a shadow miasma inside it because you convert the water. And at first, you guys watch as Glory, first of all, feels like it's not hurting it. And then there's a sudden look of anger from Glory. As she kind of redoubles her concentration, and then suddenly it goes from doing no damage to fucking this thing up.
90 points of damage. Is it
And
dead?
the point where it did the damage, Felicia, is based on your answer to that question.
Oh, interesting.
You had to reassert yourself.
Yeah.
From one of the windows where the drapes are, shadow from the drapes just kind of sloughs off. It goes from just being a shadow to like the shadow being made of like liquid, pours across the floor, and now this time it turns into like a shadow serpent. And this one actually speaks. And let's see, what would it be in Primordial? So Farewell actually can hear it. It says, by the bidding of Zaire, I consume. Zaire, you know, is the
Evil snake god.
The evil snake god, yes. Who wants to consume the world. So either Cora or Farewell. Shadow Snake coming. Who's up?
On Cora.
Well, I'm actually going to I never use it much, but I'm taking my little crossbow off my hip and I'm going to shoot at it.
Nice. Going back to old Cora.
Well, because, I mean, we were literally just told magic didn't seem to do anything, but weapon still does. So she doesn't think that her Eldritch Blast is going to do much. So she's going to go back to weapons. So she's grabbing a crossbow and she's going to shoot at it.
Yeah. It's been a while. As you pull back the bow, you go, oh, I used to do this just on muscle memory. And now you're like, oh, I'm going to feel that in the morning, kind of thing, as you're pulling back the string.
16 to hit.
Yeah, definitely hits. I mean, this is like a large draft excluder snake, so yeah, it's not hard to hit.
Oh God, I rolled a 1 on the thing, so 3 damage.
It fucks it up.
Okay.
The second that it hits, just unravels. And as it unravels, the shadow goes back into the drape that it originally came from.
Do I get the impression that it died, or that it just sort of like went nope and sort of disappeared, sort of thing?
Not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But I think you're asking the right...
It stopped it, at least.
You feel like you're asking the right questions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And finally, from underneath the desk, Renata's desk, which is about a foot away from her, just this hand comes out, this clawed hand, and it goes to slash for Renata's throat. So Farewell, what are you doing?
I have faith. I am going to throw a level 1 guiding bolt at it.
Okay.
Damage. Yeah.
Give me the shot.
Hold on. Where's
You're a little weak.
I can't find where I put stuff. Because where did I put it? That's where I put it. Sorry about that. It's that. 13 to hit.
Misses. You hit the desk, and it's something about the radiance of the bolt that makes the shadow kind of bend. And it goes to...
I'm rolling like shit tonight.
Yeah, it goes to slash. Thankfully, you're not the only person there.
We got
Because
sun.
for each of you who, well, there's actually a few more of you than that. For each of you who were there to have a shot, there was an NPC. So each of you had one in reserve. So it's not actually Sun who does it. Lilith dashes forward, and as she does so, her form starts to become more lithe, more predatory. And even though you've seen a full-on succubus before, she doesn't go anywhere near that, but she dashes forward with preternatural speed, goes and grabs the arm. And you can see that the arm is kind of really strong against her. But she is kind of holding it. And she goes, "A little help here." And just as Sun was coming forward, she goes, "I wasn't asking you. Lysandra, help me." At which point, Renata goes, "I haven't got a clue what you're on about." "My name is Renata." And she goes, "And you look a hell of a lot like her."
I think
This
there might
thing,
be some memory problems.
This isn't a being. It's an effect. It's an enchantment, and I'm holding it in place. Someone's enchanted your fucking house. And she's trying to pull this shadow out from under the desk, or at least stopping the arm going underneath. Renata goes, "An enchantment? No one can enchant my house." "Well, in that case, I'm wrestling with a figment of my fucking imagination. Hurry up!" Renata goes, and then just gestures, and as she does so, the staff appears in her hand, and she goes, "Not in my house." Raises the staff, smashes it down onto the floorboards, and there's a every magical effect, the magical miasma, everything that's happened, everything gets cancelled. Even any magical items that you have on you flicker out for a bit.
I'm like, oh, what's happening with my flashlight?
Yeah, only
Shake
for a
it.
few rounds. Only for a
Shake
few
it,
rounds,
shake it.
as per the spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she goes, "We'll have to re-raise the wards. Probably have to remark the teleportation circle. Who the hell managed to enchant my house?"
That is a very good question.
We found Lilith.
And that.
Renata takes Lilith by the hand and lifts her up and says, "I'm pleased to meet you." Lilith does something that nobody's ever done to Renata, and actually reaches out and puts her hand on her face. She actually cups her face in her hand and says, "You look so like her."
It probably is her.
Renata turns around and says, "I have somewhat of an epic memory."
But this is about the Golden City, which got sealed, which could have messed with your memories.
No, I know where I was when the city was sealed.
Or, because there's... Yes, well, Lilith obviously knows you.
I was a farm girl at the time. I didn't know until far, far later that the city even existed, let alone was sealed.
I think there's something messing with your memory there.
My memory's always been intact.
Maybe it
That's what
hasn't
you
happened
think.
yet.
It's what you think.
When Cora says that, Renata shoots a look at her as if to go,
You can travel through time, right?
Yeah?
but to go back that far, no, that's no. If I went back that far, the gods would end me.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's something
At which point,
Was this name? Sorry, this name. Because we had that book a long time ago that was kind of a love story between two people or something.
Oh
And-
yeah,
and-
Renata's love story. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, was that clarified as her or not her? And was there a
it was
name in there?
clarified.
so yeah, you know that at one point Renata had this epic love tale.
Okay. I just wondered if that.
It was your first evidence that Renata has lived many lives.
Yeah, no, I realised. I just was wondering if that happened to be the same sort of name, or I couldn't remember. Okay, so that's not
Lilith
related.
looks at Renata and says, "The heart is the work of the gods, entrusted to heroes who have faced a great evil." Renata goes,
Question mark.
"Okay." And Lilith goes on, "The heart will be sewn into the very fabric of reality, forged in time and space to exist and persist by the will of the gods." Renata's like, "Sorry, am I supposed to say something back here?" And Lilith's like, "No, okay."
I think something's messing with her memory.
Renata, looking slightly offended at this, goes, "I remember everything from thousands of years, right? I remember everything. I remember
Yes.
every child I ever had. I remember every time I went through puberty and menopause many times."
Yes, but you wouldn't know if someone had magically messed with your memory to make you remember something else
"I've never been defeated."
that you know of. That could have been your memory messed with.
The fact that you have the audacity to say this to her, just goes to show how far you fuckers have come. It's like you're talking to like the magical mob boss of the city here, and she's just like, "But I'm me." You know, kind of thing.
You just always go.
She doesn't say it, but that's entirely what that's on her face right now. Is but
If
I'm me.
Objectively, what we just saw, I had to wait to what Eclipse is saying.
This is just an attack. I mean, they didn't kill me.
It does. It's not the point. It's the fact that they were capable of doing
And they were
it.
targeting you.
And that
Just
they
as
managed-
we have Lilith back.
I've always been targeted. I mean, it's Glory. You know this better than anybody. Once you've got power, fending
People
off
will come
assassins
for it.
becomes a weekly thing.
Yeah, but this didn't seem normal.
It's normal when you get high enough.
No, but Glory, no.
It was different. I'll give you that,
Mm.
and of a magnitude I've never seen before.
Yes.
In order to be able to enchant my building, to get through all of the wards, and probably to do it from distance, that would have required a ridiculous amount of magic.
Something that would be capable of doing things.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're going to find out. She looks off into the middle distance, and the doors explode with agents coming in, and she goes, "Get ready. We're going to do legend lore." And they're like, "Okay, yep. We'll start that. We'll start that now." One minor
Farrell
thing, and
need
she's
to
like,
join?
"Get on with it." And they're like, "No, you just dispelled magic throughout the entire block. It's going to take a while to boot things back up." "Well, get started then."
Okay. So once the people have filed out, I will ask, okay, Lilith, can you tell us about Lysandra? Or Renata 1.0?
What's to tell? She was a great seer. She came to the Golden City regularly. She came about a week, maybe less, before we had to seal the city. She gave this huge speech about the fall of the city, which we all laughed at. Not laughing now. And she talked about your Heart of Duradan.
Right. Well, that all sound like someone we know. Stares at Renata.
Renata goes, nope, never done it. Farm girl.
Yes, you've never been a great seer, ever.
No, I've been a great seer several times. I just wasn't this great seer.
As someone who just happened to look exactly like you, did it?
What a twin.
Somebody who just looked like me. I mean, redheads tend to all look alike.
No.
No.
No. That just also happened to be a great seer. Can see the future. Talked about the Heart of Duradan that nobody would know of until like 100 years later.
Thousands. But yeah.
Renata starts to nervously look at Cora about Cora's postulation that Renata finds reason to go back.
Cora's also looking a little bit between. She's looking between Renata and actually Farewell, because both of them now have the ability to do time stuff. And in her head, like she, creating a being that looks like Renata might be a possibility at some point in the future. I mean, Farewell can already make multiple copies of himself. Just putting that meta out there.
I have to ask. Was there a really nervous water genocide walking around?
Not that I saw, but
okay, cool. Then
Lysandra always had these followers. They never showed their faces. They just used to walk around in these nondescript, like robes, maybe cloaks. They never really
Grey cloaks by any chance?
Well, yeah, almost everything was grey. Renata starts to look very, very worried.
Renata.
I mean,
people did she have following her? What heights were they?
Well,
none of them particularly tall or short. They were all kind of.
It's not us. Good, because
they were all kind of cute.
Renata
no, they weren't you.
Can see the future though, right? She sees multiple paths, so she would, in theory, if this was to even be something that would happen, she would see it. I'm not saying this as Cora. I'm kind of saying this as
you know that she
should know this.
Yeah, she sees a lot of future events,
but she's not seeing this.
She's not seeing herself going back.
She's not seeing herself going back, but she's not seeing herself in the past either.
She's very worried about it.
Yeah.
As if to say, I didn't mean to take that thread. What are you on about?
Yeah, intriguing.
She's keeping her cards close to her chest, though. I mean, you are now wrangling with a time traveler that either was in the past but doesn't remember it, or will be in the past but hasn't been there yet.
Well, regardless, I don't think that matters now. Let's discuss the fact that we need to do a siege on a city.
Well,
yeah.
Yes,
Point,
Glory is giving her an out.
On the door. Renata says, if it's ready, I'll be down in a minute. Siege, you were saying?
Who is it?
Sorry. There was a message, miss.
From who?
Door opens gingerly. It's just a guy. His name's Todd. You've seen him about. He's a nice lad.
Todd.
He's just Todd. He's just Todd. I haven't used Todd before. I thought it was time to have a Todd. And he comes in sheepishly and says, when you dispelled the curse, it kind of puffed out of the air and landed on the doorstep. And he, shaking hands her this tiny little note. And it's got a little wax seal on it. The second she sees the wax seal, she waves her hand, and the wax seal flicks into the fire, and there's this smell. It's this strange kind of metallic smell. Wax shouldn't smell like that. It's like a cross between burning metal and ozone. She
Okay.
opens it up, and it says, "We, the children of the architect, are coming for you." And she just, because it is written quite large, actually, and kind of in an erratic hand as well, because handwriting is a thing in medieval times. It's clearly done with a shaking hand.
Oh, now they've given us a way to identify them, so that's great.
Yeah.
I thought we got rid of all the cults.
Oh, clearly
This was a global
something.
effort. We had everybody on this.
I am thinking this is something that's been in hiding.
Do you realize
I
what this means? If there's a cult strong enough to do this, they could try and reach across the fucking void.
Yeah, we need to take them out now. Yes, I agree.
You've got other things to do. I'll make sure they're taken out. We'll scry on this. I'm sure that'll be cursed to all hell the second that we try that. And I'll send some forces in. What do you need?
I think we'll talk about that next time.
Yes, because we're at 11 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, hermits, they're saying, still think you're all that, Renata? To be fair, Renata's one of the more arcane, powerful people in this plane of existence, unfortunately, of this plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot help but think that this is all connected. As soon as we revive Lilith, they all come knocking. Coincidence? I think not.
It's almost as if the person who wrote this said, okay, when this happens, trigger these.
Mm-hmm.
When they get to this level of progress, start this storyline. Yeah.
And they must be connected, because that would make sense. And also, if we're like, oh, you know this person, but she doesn't remember. And she was a seer.
Time was always going to be a thing in this, and also a little bit of misleading. But that's something for you guys to think on as we go into what's now going to be the Siege of the Golden City and a lot of other things. There's going to be a bunch of things kicking off. I'm giving you some things to hunt. So now that we're back into it, we've got Kate with her Fey contacts and her Fey abilities. We've got our fledgling Chronomancer Farewell. We've got our self-made dragon Glory, and we've got Eclipse in the middle, just going, I still have a knife. And yet still holding her own because fucking rogues. Yeah. And yeah, Hermit has the right of it. When they become this powerful, start fucking them up. You have got kind of a ticking clock. These guys are going to keep trying to kill Renata now.
Yeah. No more fucking about.
No more fucking about. Get to the Golden City, get it done. So next session, I'm assuming that drumming up the troops and then getting some idea of the Golden City, and then what's going to be a bit of a gauntlet once you get in there. So anything that you would like to prepare for during that time. So Kate, if you wanted to go take a nap, speak to the in-laws, get whatever powers you might need to get from that. And I'm not going to lead that anymore. You're at a level in the story now where you start telling me what you're going for. It's not necessarily going to give it to you, but there's a certain amount of give and take that I'm willing to do. So just give it some thought of what would your character do? What sources of power would they be tapping into? What levels of desperation might they be going at as the clock starts to tick faster and faster? Anyway, that's enough for tonight. Very glad to be back, although still kind of getting over this chest infection, so I did get a bit tired towards the end. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. Big thank you to Stygian, Hermit, Scorm, Elfbiter, I think I saw Unker in earlier, and all the others. Thank you again for turning up. And Hisser as well. Thank you very much for turning up. We're going to be plugging on with this story. For those of you who are in the community, there is a lot going on. So we're continuing with the Arc server, I think I'm right in saying, Felicia, so that's still going?
Sure is. I have
and-
been sidetracked playing some Terraria with Corinne, but the Arc server is still going, and it's going strong.
Good stuff. And on Monday off stream, we've got our guys who are playing in the Forgotten Light. So that's a D&D that we've got off stream. Then on still on Monday should be Numenera. Thank you, Hermit, for the schedule. So yes, we've got Numenera. And once the tech issues are all sorted out, Tuesday, we're going to have session 1. So we had session 0 before, where people were getting accustomed to the dice rolls and their characters and things, but we will have session 1 of the Pallid Man. And as I've mentioned before, I've played this story before. It's awesome. So join us for that.
I'm pretty sure the first time I met Simon, he was talking to our friend Kat about this adventure.
I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursdays, we've got Mage the Ascension. If you don't understand it, you understand it. Mage is an absolute acid trip. Join in and just join the ride. And then, of course, we will be back on Friday to continue the Benefactor. Until then, it is the weekend. So get on Discord, talk to each other, play games, have fun, be there for each other. It's fantastic to have the community. Now I'm very tired. I'm going to go to bed. Good night.